So much to say about you. Multiple-time AVP champion, Pan Am Game silver medalist. But let's go a little bit earlier. Where you were born in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, I was born in a really cool small town, La Crosse, Wisconsin. That's where our whole family grew up. We come from a really big family back home, so I have a lot of cousins, family back there.
Nice.
My mom grew up in a small little town called Coon Valley. It only had like 500 people in it. She grew up in
spell that for me.
COON Valley.
Come on.
So
come on.
Yeah, one real small town, one blinking red light, one post office, one everything. So we came from really humble background, but La Crosse, Wisconsin is a bigger place, and I was raised there until I was 9 years old. Then we moved down to Georgia.
Yeah.
Family got tired of the snow and weather, so eventually had to move down south.
Kind of makes people move to California.
But it was real good, humble beginnings there in Wisconsin, and I like to carry on a few of those moral and value roots to wherever I go now.
So growing up, you identify more with being a Wisconsin than a Georgian?
Yeah, a little bit both. So I kind of split both of my years. In Wisconsin, I lived there until I was 9, and then I moved down to Georgia, lived in Georgia until I was until I was 18, and then headed west. So I kind of split both time there. But the announcers like to say I'm from Georgia.
So listen, you don't need your bio. It's pretty common knowledge. You literally drove across country. Your version of your one-way ticket highway to hell. No stop line, no speed limit, no turn. You're not going back. You came to California to pursue a career in college volleyball and eventually playing the AVP. Let's go just before that journey. What the hell got you into volleyball?
Yeah, that's a very interesting story. There's many players on the AP Tour that have a really unique story of growing up and playing on a small sand court in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And this was one of those stories. Really unusual, but one of the top players in the Southeast at the time lived in Warner Robins, Georgia. And we had literally one sand court at this really cool apartment complex. And a lot of the top players in the Southeast had lived there. But the reason why a lot of people lived there was there's a big military base there as well. A lot of top military guys at Warner Robins Air Force Base also played there. So we had the military, rednecks, we had some of the top players in the Southeast all congregate at this court in Warner Robins.
Is that close to Benning?
It's called Southland Station.
Yeah.
So it's directly right in the middle of Georgia, right below Macon, and about an hour and a half south of Atlanta. But this guy, David Bartling, who was previously in the military, was the top player there. He just taught me how to play from that point on. He came up to me and asked me 2 questions. It was really strange. I didn't know this guy. He was really quiet. He was like, "How tall is your dad?" And I was like, "What the hell?" This guy asked me how. I don't even know your name yet. He asked me how tall my dad is. But I was like 6 foot or 5'11" and a half, but he said 6 feet. He was like, "All right, that's good enough. Do you love volleyball?" And I said, "Yeah. I like it." I started playing when I was 11 or 12. And he brought me to a big tournament that very next weekend. He asked my dad if he could bring me to the volleyball tournament. My dad was like, "Yeah, take him. I need to babysit for the weekend." And I ended up falling in love with the sport.
You got snake bit, yeah.
Ended up quitting baseball, basketball, football, golf to pursue the dream and come out west.
You got snake bit.
I saw Karch on TV. Is really what happened.
I saw Timmons, but yeah.
So back then, it was pre-internet, pre-DVRs. So I would literally record Karch on TV every time he came on TV.
Right.
Play record on the VHS. I would label my VHS tapes. I would watch them. I would do 7-minute abs before the old guys got off work. So I'd get motivated visually. I'd get in shape, and then I'd go play with the old guys every afternoon in Georgia.
That must have been fun.
Kind of made it happen from there.
Yeah, so you got this long journey cross country via car, just packed up everything, and eventually you wind up at Irvine. You played there, right, as an outside hitter?
Correct. I went to UC Irvine.
Yeah.
Ended up driving 42 hours straight west.
Mm-hmm.
And I kid you not, it was a black IROC. I was super Georgia, driving across the country, listening to Tupac, California Dreamin'. That was pre-energy drinks. So I literally had a TV, bag full of clothes, and a cooler. And my energy back then was, I hate to admit it, but it was Mountain Dew and Snickers on the road, and I was...
Yeah, it seems like, listen, didn't seem like an expensive diet time.
16 hours first day, 14 the next, and like 10 or 12 the next day. I just straight through.
Oh man.
It was on a journey.
You drove with me, you probably would have got there in 38 hours. I drive like a freaking New Yorker or a crazy dude. So Irvine, you end up being the leader, career leader in kills and aces. It was just about, I guess your position, OH, you were... Most outside hitters, and like as an indoor player, most of them for me are like, one is like the best passer on the court, one guy's like a really good, more of the go-to guy on offense. Did you find yourself, as far as role playing,
so
is concerned, being the better hitter of the two, or the best ball control guy?
Yeah, so I was a little shorter in high school. Believe it or not, I was 5'2" in the 9th grade. Okay. I was 5'2", big old ears, 5'2", and I meditated or prayed on becoming 6 foot every day. I was like, if I get 6 feet, I'm gonna dunk so hard, number one, and I'm gonna crush guys on the volleyball court. I knew if I got 6 feet tall, I could work hard and outwork everyone to make it happen.
Yeah, and you can also be graciously listed as 6'2" on the college roster.
On the roster, you can lie about your roster.
Yeah, if you're 6 feet, they'll make you 6'2".
For sure. But I told myself if I ever got 6 feet, I'm going to make it happen, and I just accepted it mentally, and I just really went for it and made it happen. But going into college, I was trained as a setter and outside hitter, but I had a little too much deep dish to be a college
for the
center.
rest,
and I could jump high and had good ball control all around, so I played a lot of beach, grass tournaments back in Georgia. So we eventually played outside hitter and a little bit opposite as well during that time. But a really fun time at UCI. It's right on the beach in Newport Beach. So going from Georgia to college where I could live on the beach was pretty phenomenal.
So when was your first AVP tournament?
So during the summers while I was in college, I was still playing a lot of sand tournaments. That was my entire goal. Just get to Southern California. That's where the top players are. I want to go to any D1 school in Southern California. I didn't care which one it was. I just wanted to go.
Yeah.
Obviously, the better, better school, the best school I could. But that was the goal. So I was playing a lot of sand tournaments every summer. So I was already prepping and already playing in the tournaments, getting used to the players. But then my junior and senior year, I started playing a little bit of qualifiers. And right when I graduated, I qualified.
Nice.
So
what year was that?
I think it was 2002.
Okay.
But it was right after, kind of a crazy story is, I had one of the worst injuries in UCI history. A lot of people don't know, but I had a compound fracture my senior year at UCI.
Good.
I played 30% of the season. NCAA said I could not come back from medical redshirt year. So that's what drives me to this day, is I still have a rod and 3 screws in my left leg, but not too many people know about that. I couldn't finish my senior year, so all my college dreams were just crushed. I probably could have fought it, because volleyball was a small sport. UCI, it was kind of medium of the pack then. And we're not making a ton of money at all.
No, and in 2001, 2002, the NCAA didn't.
That was an old school scoring.
Yeah, nobody
before
cared.
Libero, it didn't matter.
2001 is when they went to Raleigh, but
I knew I could I knew I had a good shot at being an All-American, but I was never given that shot.
Right.
But luckily, I had a great doctor. The injury happened at a great spot in my leg. I was being pumped with morphine in practice 3 minutes after it happened, so I got really good taken care of. I got taken care of really well, and I'm just super appreciative that I actually have my health. And that's why you see me kind of celebrating emotion every time. I'm just really happy to be healthy and happy. And
no, that's a big deal, because that could go another way.
It could be worse, and it could be
right. That could go
again.
another way, but yet here you are.
and kind of a good point right after UC Irvine. I did a lot of quick therapy. I was really stronger 4 months later after I broke my leg.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of first qualified, was that year. So it was a lot of emotions coming out.
Do you remember your partner?
Breaking my leg. I do, actually. So I qualified a lot with Mike Scales, who was my original first partner. We never made it in together. But then my first partner was a legend from UCI as well, Leland Quinn.
Okay.
He was a big 6'9" lefty, just a soulful, free-minded individual. He was a really cool legend on the sport. He was kind of from the old school, the 80s, 90s, and it was Manhattan Beach with Leland Quinn.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
Manhattan Beach.
Manhattan Beach, first one.
Nice.
Really cool.
I did one, and first and last year. Just as in 28 years an indoor player, I just had to do one.
You have to.
My friend hoodwinked me into playing, and I thought I was gonna get it like every serve. I got served once.
You sat it out so good that one time.
I know, that was it.
They saw it now.
Yeah, and the second one they served out of the middle. I stuck like a hand. It was supposed to be his middle, and I just stuck a hand out there and kind of like rolled.
Free ice cream.
And it was Jake Rosner and TK who were very respectful, and they chose the devil they knew as opposed to the devil they didn't know. And I got blown out. But it was, I can only say I share your nostalgia of just being in Manhattan Beach and all your friends watching, and in this world of social network, I actually had more attention than the main draw did. I was on Facebook Live, I was YouTube Live, I was on Instagram. It was ridiculous. Video later, it was just so Manhattan Beach. So Manhattan Beach, you and this guy.
That was it. Manhattan Beach is coming up soon. I'm really excited about that. It's always one of the best events on tour.
Absolutely.
2007 was Pan American Games with
that's right. And you met
we can do that first.
And you met Emanuel and Ricardo in the finals.
We did.
Pan American Games in Rio.
We did.
And you made it to the finals.
Yeah, so USA Volleyball approved me and Hans going through a selection process. We'd had pretty decent results that year on the AVP. We got a third in Chicago, and we were playing great.
Yeah.
And we were just under the top USA teams that were traveling at FIVB International. So we got a great opportunity to compete internationally. It was in Copacabana, right where the Olympics were in Rio.
Wow.
We got to play. We were like a 14th seed. We didn't even have FIV points, so they drew us out of a hat. We were 14 out of 16 seed. But luckily, we did not have to play Ricardo and Emanuel until the finals.
Right.
So we had a great bracket. We won all of our matches we should.
Yeah. You beat a tough Cuban team.
Tough Cuba
took
team.
three sets to take that out.
Real tough. The crowd was cheering for Cuba the entire time. 7,500 just chanting for Cuba.
And they were
did not
cheering
want
for
US
Cuba. What the hell happened when you played Brazil in the finals?
It was absolutely insane. But I played with Hans Silva, one of my favorite partners of all time. He played with great energy. He talked with his hands. He was fearless.
Yeah.
But we got to play Ricardo and Emanuel in the finals, and they had just won a gold medal, I think, in London.
2004.
2004.
Yeah. That was Greece. Yeah.
So that was our in Greece.
Yeah.
And so that was our kind of Super Bowl moment. We haven't played too much on the FIVB, a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was kind of our moment. Luckily, most Pan American Games are a lot smaller, but Rio was proven to the world that they could run a world-class event.
Yeah.
So they could get the Olympic berth, for 2016. So they went all out. It was insane. They had like 110,000 people open ceremonies.
Nice.
But it was a pleasure to play Ricardo and Emanuel and top team of all time.
Oh, represent USA.
Maybe
too.
besides Karch and Kent, Sinjin and Randy.
Those that are.
We got to play them.
Those are the ones that have to be in that conversation. Absolutely. Yeah.
100%. And we got to play them in their home beach, their home country, their home fans. They had like 7,500 fans, and we had 20.
Let me tell you something.
We had 20.
Let me tell you something about Brazilian fans, okay? And this is every sport. You can watch soccer. You can visit. They can host soccer. They can host mixed martial arts, whatever. Their fans, I call it. I affectionately refer to as getting it right. They got it right. They really back up their own ferociously.
Cultural. They're passionate. They are dancers, chanters, hecklers. It was all of the above. It was the loudest match I think I've ever played.
We were fearless. The chants are awesome with the song.
We knew that was our Super Bowl moment.
Yeah.
We had already made the finals, so we were in the medal contention. So we had nothing to lose. We went into it with the match like, we're going to drink a ton of NO Explode before this match. We're going to play so jacked.
Play with house money.
And we're going to play so aggressive, and we're going to yell at and scream at their fans, and we're just going to go for it.
Nice.
And so if you really watch that match on YouTube, me and Hans were screaming and yelling at fans.
It's on YouTube.
We're yelling at Ricardo.
Did you hear that? Gotta look it up. You gotta watch it. It's on YouTube. I'm gonna watch it later. I damn well should have watched it before this interview.
Entertaining match. Check it out on YouTube.
Hashtag dereliction of duty. That's something I should have watched before this.
One funny thing about that is Ricardo, we yelled at him a little bit during the match. We had a big joust, and I was screaming through the net, and they take that super personal.
Of course, and then your walk too. So you win a joust, and you have this walk after you win the joust, like you shot the sheriff.
For sure. Afterwards, we were getting drug tested in a private little area, and I was congratulating Ricardo and Emanuel and just having fun with them. We were all celebrating together. And I asked him for a jersey, just out of respect. I was like, I would love to trade a jersey for it. He was like, no, I don't like you. So Ricardo, I still need that jersey. You're on the AVP. I'm going to get one for you.
Well, Manhattan Beach, right? Tell him I'll play you for a jersey.
I'll play you for a jersey.
He's still going to be like, no, I'm not talking.
Jersey and acai bowl.
Yeah.
Better bring it.
Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised. I was born in Coney Hospital, actually.
Yes, good.
Raised on Flatbush Avenue, but I identified more being a Flatbush Avenue kid than a Coney Island kid. But who you played with who?
So in 2009, Coney Island, I played with Casey Patterson.
Okay.
Casey was just coming up the year before. He was playing with Coney and Seaman and many other people. Yeah. He was a really fiery kid. He was a little bit wild at the time. He was trying to bounce straight down, but he had all the skills. He had great court vision, and he wanted it more than anyone. Yeah. So we ended up partnering up. It was funny, before Coney Island, I think we got a ninth in Atlanta, my hometown. We got absolutely rocked. Lost to a team that we probably never should have lost to. Had a bad tournament. Casey had his kid 2 weeks before Coney Island as well.
Wow, okay.
So, and his wife was like, you better get a job, you better make some money. Oh, making money.
No!
So it was all this pressure and stress on Casey, so it was all these elements coming in. And literally the next weekend, we played okay to start the tournament. We had a pretty close first round match. I think we lost second round to Nygaard and Mayer in a really good match. Yeah. And we had to grind. It was a 32-team tournament. We had to grind all the way back through the losers. And we had to play 9 matches.
That is... with 32 teams, that's the gladiator pits.
It was. So we got in a great side-out rhythm. We ended up grinding back and winning some really close matches. And we knew if we made the finals, we'd have a shot. But we had to play Sean Scott and John Hayden. Okay. And they were beating everyone at the time. Okay, even Phil and Todd. They were the big rivalry of Phil and Todd at the time. Okay. Phil and them were gone, thankfully. So we got a little break that way. But we were on fire, and we knew once we made the finals, we were going to put on a good show and play with energy. And Casey came out screaming from point one on the knuckle over the net. Started screaming at Sean Scott. It's a pretty legendary match. I encourage you guys to watch it on YouTube. It's fun. Played with a lot of energy and passion, and luckily we pulled it out. It was amazing.
You and a young Ty and a young Casey Patterson. And,
we were wild. We were crazy.
In Coney Island. Cool. Yeah, a lot of...
Really, it was so much fun.
It's they actually have some pretty decent players up the beach at Brighton Beach. A lot of guys from Russia. They have a huge Russian contingency out there. Yep. Just indoor transplants that use it as a cross-trainer to play indoor. I play for a team called Poland. They won nationals in 19 26, and you'll see a lot of them come to, not Coney Island, next to it. So did you see a lot of as far as diversity in the crowd?
Absolutely.
You had to have seen African American because it was Coney Island's predominantly African American.
Yeah, it's
then
very
you got the
diverse.
Russian population right next to it.
It was 4th of July weekend too.
Oh,
wow. Luckily, my friend Adam Pratt lived in Battery Park, and he had a car, so we drove us down all weekend.
Yeah.
We saw the barbecues through Coney Island on the way home, and it was amazing. We got real lucky. It was a Grand Slam event.
Okay.
So there was big money. It was on NBC Live with Marlo, the great announcers, and Sutherland.
The timing must have been great for Patterson too.
Timing was perfect with
pressure,
the family,
the outside
pressure, and the kids, and luckily there was an epic Wimbledon match on. Or I'm sorry, there was an epic U.S. Open match on.
Yeah.
That showed right before us. It was Federer Roddick.
Oh, that was
5 sets.
I think that was Wimbledon.
And they only made. It was an epic 5-setter.
Yeah.
And it happened right before our finals. So luckily we got the trickle over traffic.
Nice.
Of everyone watching that. And then all of a sudden Casey comes on just screaming and yelling. And so a lot of people stuck around and watched.
He played volleyball like a man who just had a kid.
For sure.
that is hunger, man. That brings new meaning to the term.
But luckily it was the last big check that AVP had as well. So it was great for Casey's family. It was great for our independence as athletes. It was finally worth it to receive a big check and be a little more sustainable. It was a beautiful day.
Nice. So you won. So you won Coney Island 2009, all right? You won San Francisco just recently, as short as a couple of weeks ago. I did a nice little jingle about it.
I like the song. It was great. So poetic.
So this huge gap in between, you went to Tokyo, right? You played a little volleyball out there. I think you won that championship out there. You played with multiple partners in between, I guess I want you to tell me just about the journey in between both of those championships and just different federations. Did you play a little Norseca too?
Yeah, for sure. So after Coney Island. In 2009, it was great. The tour was going phenomenal. I think it was a little bit unsustainable at the time.
Right.
And the economy crashed right after that. So me and Casey were playing together.
Bricks, yeah.
We finished that year, and literally I think right after Hermosa Beach, the tour collapsed.
Yeah.
So we had no tour for 3 years.
Right.
There were many tours back then. This is good historical perspective for everyone. And why we appreciate the AVP so much now, because we've seen it collapse a few times, and I was at my peak in 2009, right when it collapsed.
Yeah.
Luckily, me and Casey had some sponsors. There was a Corona Light Wide Open tour. There was actually a big court tour at the time.
Yeah.
So me and Casey were like,
no, it's a Belmar too.
Forget it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's try to get Corona as a sponsor. Let's go play all their tournaments. We ended up doing that. We ended up touring all across the country, playing Motherlode and other great events.
Yeah, in Colorado, right?
So luckily we ended up winning the Motherlode, which was a super cool experience up in Aspen. It was amazing. Get your name on the post forever.
Wow.
So we got to play a small tournament that we've never been able to play before. So that was really cool. And there was nothing else to play. So we played the Corona Tour. We ended up winning 4 out of the 5 big court tournaments.
Yeah.
The only one we didn't win was Manhattan. The biggest one where you get your name on the pier.
Yeah.
We wanted it so bad. And we had a great shot. We were up on Adrian, Skyball Karumbla, and Steve Kwiatkowski at the time. We were up 13-8. Playing old school to 15, we just couldn't win that match. If we'd won that match, we had a good chance to win. But, so we did play that, and there was a few other tours along the way. The NVL came along, the IMG Cuervo tour, and then the Corona tour. But there was 3 different point systems. None of them were universal. So if you didn't play one, you were penalized and didn't get points.
Right.
So everyone's points was going like this because the system was all messed up. I was still playing great, but we lost most of our sponsors. A lot. I lost probably about $50,000 in sponsors after 2009. So once you start tapping into your wallet and budget to do this, there's no real big tour worthy.
Yeah, and just a bunch of elite athletes.
Yeah, so then you start training a little less, and then you start questioning things. And is this time to retire? Where's the tour going? Is it going to come back? And a lot of guys, unfortunately had to retire. Good players like Washvogel, Scott Long, Matt Olson, many great players that were in their peak.
Kenya,
Cannon and Billy Strickland and many other guys ended up retiring. I was one of them.
Cool.
I retired for 3 years. I was still playing really good four-man down in Emerald Bay. I was still feeling it. So I still had it. I was still in shape.
Lake George now.
Yeah, we started a little business. We ended up going away from the business. And I just decided I wanted to come back. I just missed it. I missed the traveling. I was working in my house. I was stuck in an office.
And you were like, you kept yourself in good volleyball shape too.
Well, a little bit. I got fat for a minute. Like real skinny arms, a little belly from burritos.
Skinny fat boy.
Yeah, I was skinny. Fat. Puerto Rican skinny fat.
So listen, So I'm going to talk about San Francisco in a minute, but before we get to that, I want to talk about the FIVB, and I want to talk about that time period from 2000. Let's call it, because you were there in the beginning of the boom period where the rest of the world and the other countries of the world gained acclimated to general interest. So at what point do you think the rest of the world has caught up? There's been us and there's been Brazil, for beach volleyball. 1996 Olympics, it's us. 2000, I can't even tell you. I think it was probably it was Dane Blanton and Fernando Moana. And 2004 is Brazil. 2008 is us. 2012 Reckerman. He just had a really good coach, because that's the same coach that won with Vulcan Horse and Ludwig.
They were great.
So one gender apiece. That man is responsible for 2 gold medals. Allison and Bruno. 2016. So, at what point you look at teams like the Italian teams with Anghieri, Caminati, who only play in America, so I should just skip them. At what point do you think that they've, I won't say caught up and passed them. I was asked a true and false question that the rest of the world's caught up and passes. In my opinion, I thought they caught up.
I think the FIVB has never been deeper than it is right now. There's so many great athletes. Not only you have great defenders and you have great blockers now, but you have the average blocker is probably 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", just 7 feet on the World Tour. And they're very dynamic.
With great ball control.
They can pass, they can hit, they have great arms, they can move in the sand. That's a whole new wave that we're going through of athletes. So it's really exciting to see, but it's really tough for Americans now because the rest of the world is caught up. The rest of the world has coaching, funding, training, therapists that travel with them. And it took the U.S. a little while, USA Volleyball, to really have our full system support. Mostly they were support indoor for a while. Yeah,
because last year, listen, I was covering World Series at Beach. It was the first time I made NYVarsity Sports into a beach thing. My first tube cast was that, and Chinese 9 or whatever. And man, we got whooped. It wasn't like this year's format was USA against the world, okay? So there were 2 pools of 8 teams, 2 pools of 4 in each category. The US played each other, the international played each other, and in the finals, the representative from the US played the representative from the international. Last year, very, very mixed. And if you weren't Dahlhauser and Musana, and if you weren't Kerry Walter and April Ross, if you weren't like top heavy, you got whooped. Mayer and Dougherty didn't even qualify. They got beat by Georgia and Thiago.
I like the idea and the concept of that. I do like Leonard, bringing international competition here. I think it was a non-FIVB sanctioned event, so you didn't get points. It was kind of
it was a President's Cup.
All-star event.
And
it was
a big
pretty
check.
cool.
Yeah.
It was great for the players to earn a little bit more money here, to play here.
It was also great.
But we brought a lot of the top teams in the world versus our teams. I think our top 4 or 5 teams are really good and can compete with the rest of the world. Maybe right below that. Maybe we're a step below them. It was a really cool format.
Except the forfeits, but yeah.
Except the forfeits. When you pay third and fourth place the same amount of money, you're going to have a lot of forfeits.
Yeah.
So they'll learn from that. It was a great event.
Well, I think they'll learn from that in the sense that when it's international volleyball, and people who follow the AVP and they get to see the same faces and the stars, you get to, these people travel a long way to see international players and this and that, and I don't think I'm going to crap on the American teams for forfeiting as much as I'm going to salute the international teams that in their last game had nothing to play for.
Had actually played.
Give an example. Larissa and Toledo against Welcome Horse and Laura Ludwig.
Correct.
Both 2-0, both in already, really nothing to play for. They got in stadium court and they beat the living hell up. They took a pound of flesh from each other's hip, just threw it down. So what's up? 17-15 game 3.
I love it. That's great.
And I understand winning a tournament, both teams are 2-0, or losing a tournament and 0-2 and doing that, and it's logical and it's sensible. But for all intents and purposes, for the fans who travel from Oklahoma, Northern California, Southern California, some people flew from New York.
They want to see.
You gotta fucking play. You gotta fucking play.
I know one team.
I spoke to some people off the record.
I know
some American teams off the record that were.
Some American teams probably
their contempt for.
Some American teams probably pulled out. I know Mark Burek did hurt his back.
That was legit. And Brouwer did too. I mean, from the Netherlands. They won pool and they could.
Long Beach is a real hard packed tournament, so it's really hard on the body.
Pottstown Rumble.
So that can be an effect, but. It was overall a great event, and it is great to see the other teams from all across the world now competing with the U.S. They're challenging us to be better as athletes, and they're challenging USA to put more funding to our beach program to really help all the top 5, 6 teams, help us go to NYVarsity, help sponsor the coaches a little bit more, help us with clothing sponsors, really work the system. And I think Sean Scott is doing a good job with helping them. And,
excellent.
I think there's only more and more opportunity for growth in that whole system.
Well,
really support USA players. Yeah, because we need it if we're going to keep competing.
This is also a really good time for me to convey my personal respect for the work that you put in to promote yourself. I think a lot of these players can save their own soul. I mean, you have the NYVarsity qualifier on a random Wednesday morning, and nobody goes because no one knows. And
for sure.
Like some of these guys, they want to sponsor. They want this person to sponsor them. They want that person to sponsor them. But and I'm not a marketing major. My finals degree is in acting. My degree is in acting. Okay, but who the hell? The question is, who the hell's gonna sponsor Tree That Falls in the Woods?
Absolutely.
Who the hell's who's gonna sponsor someone that no one's coming out to watch? I mean, if you're wearing QUIKSILVER or you're wearing Corona, whatever, and you're drinking a Corona, people see that, they want to go drink a Corona. If the camera doesn't catch that, who will save your soul?
So an important thing for the current pros and younger players coming up to the next AVP first system.
The floor is yours.
It's up to us to be entertainers and educators and ambassadors of the sport now, whether it's sharing, pictures, tips, updates of where you're playing. We're so accessible and interconnected with the world now. We can't just rely on a governing body to do everything for us. It's expensive. We only have X amount of employees at the AVP. They can't do everything, so we can't hold them responsible for everything. It's up to the players and the athletes now to be marketable, to show a personality, to entertain the crowd, to also go to sponsors aggressively, whether it's message them on Instagram, find sponsors that align with you and your values. I like reaching out to more conscious, health-oriented sponsors. That's kind of where my life journey has gone. And
I mean,
I've been aggressive with it, and you'll never get a sponsor if you don't ask.
Agreed.
So, but I like working them slowly, saying, hey, I love your products. I have a little social media following. Why don't I become an ambassador first for you guys? I work a relationship with them. I get to know them. I invite them to a few tournaments. And then once they see us hopefully do good, I'll run social media contests for them, all sorts of stuff, just to get them the impressions. And I've always been able to do that, and that's why I've been able to sustain as a professional for 16, 17 years now.
Yeah.
But I encourage more and more pros and AVP Next people to do that, bring more sponsors involved, and be more of an entertainer. Let people know where you are. Share your workout plans, your health tips, and take responsibility as an athlete.
They have a platform. They have a platform to do it. I mean,
the fans are dying to hear what the players are saying, thinking, how they train and act, and what's their daily routines, what's the process, what are they doing day to day, why do they love the sport?
Or hire someone that can do that for them. The money will come back. Listen, in New York, there's an interleague in New York. They're professionals. They're very competent. I sing karaoke at a bar, the Parlor. Okay, it was around the corner from where I lived on 87th Street. It's on 86th or whatever. They sponsor my entire. I bring people there to sing.
It's great.
And I don't. And mind you, that's small time. That's not. I don't have a platform where people can see me.
You get the sponsors, because of the relationships. It's all about the relationships with people. So you have to get them on the phone, you have to get them in face, you have to show them the culture. They just need to be introduced to the culture once.
Absolutely.
One tournament, have them come cheer for it, then anything is open. Create a cheap website on Squarespace or WordPress or something on Shopify, get it up and going, and just ask. Be presentable and show your personality. And, more and more sponsors will come and help you sustain your dreams and goals.
Absolutely. Listen, and last but not least, you made a stop a couple of years ago for the military. You were working in conjunction. Was it USO?
Yes. So I've done 7 military trips now. Some USO, some by different organizations that run government tours. Mostly they run tours for comedians, musicians, Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and old players. But occasionally they let volleyball players go visit the troops. Full Top Gun style. It's absolutely
nice.
I've gotten to go 7 times now, really all across the world to visit troops. What's really cool about that too is guys who taught me how to play came from the military. So they taught me how to play. I heard their stories all growing up, and I really couldn't process it and understand
that's
it
where my game picked
from
up.
a cultural world perspective, because I haven't traveled that much. And it was really cool kind of going full circle and visiting all the troops overseas in Kosovo and Serbia and Italy and Germany to
I spent my whole
Austria.
Tour. That's my whole tour, actually.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. And this past year we got to go, me and Ty Tremblay, Teal Hunkus and Jen Schneider got to go to the Middle East, which is phenomenal. We got to go for 2 weeks. We got to go to Djibouti, Africa, Qatar, Kuwait, and Abu Dhabi. That was an incredible experience, and I really had a big conscious awakening from visiting the troops. The first time, you just really started to question everything, and it was good for my consciousness and soul. It kind of took me on a truthful seeking journey, and I'm at a better place now. I found inner peace kind of through all that. I'm really humbled by the whole experience, and it's expanded my mind from learning about different cultures all across the world. But also when you go over there, you're not just playing volleyball and doing clinics and exhibitions and living with the troops on bases. You're living in shipping containers with a good air conditioner and like a small pod. So we're in there with the troops. We're eating the food. We're doing meet and greets with the commanders. We're there. We're in it.
Nice.
But you get to live with them. You get to hear their stories. You ask them a bunch of questions. You're really like a therapist while you're there. So you're just listening, and people are opening up and telling you really crazy and amazing stories at the same time, and really puts everything in perspective.
Well, as a vet myself, something we're always gonna have absolutely fun, crazy stories. This and that. I mean, if this were my interview, we'd be here all day. So
that's great. But we're also visiting anyone watching from the Middle East, the troops as well. We're visiting the troops as well this year. Back to the Middle East, so it's gonna be an exciting time again with Ty Tremblay and our crew. And, it's always fun going back and
Ty's fun.
Getting sponsors involved, giving the troops some free product and sponsors, which is great. And,
So
Can't wait to go back in November.
So Ty, fun person to play with, fun person to hang out with. Right?
Ty Tramley is amazing. He's one of my best friends on tour.
You guys went SOB together, probably.
We go on the volleyball vacations, south of the border volleyball vacations. Stafford Slick, Billy Allen, Miles Evans, Phil Klinsky.
Well, that's how I met
a whole
John.
bunch of guys.
That's actually where I met John. Kelly was there for the tournaments. I was there for exhibition. I was a guitar player, just trying to get along.
That's why it was special.
Get rocked a little bit, yeah.
That's why it was special in San Fran. Is that I know Billy and Stafford really well.
Yeah.
We've gone to volleyball vacations together. We played exhibitions together. We've lived together for weeks at a time. We're really good friends, and that made it even a little more special in San Fran.
Of course. I mean, consider this. I mean, 2016, right? You made it to the semifinals with Stafford Slick. You played against him, right?
Yes.
And this year,
with Marty Lorenz.
And this year,
gave Stafford a beat down.
Riley gets hurt. Maddison and Riley, they've been playing together. They're this new enigma, the Beard Bros, the McKibbin brothers.
Good brand. They're going
the hats. Have you seen? Everyone's rocking those hats.
That's
I need
great.
a hat, dude. I need
Every
a hat.
player needs to create their own branding and logo.
Yeah.
That's how it was back in the day when it was like raging and the tour was thriving.
First time I saw
think it's
him,
going back to that.
First time I saw him, 2015 in New York. They're like, "Where are these guys from? California?" I'm like, "No, they're from Williamsburg." And you see by the beards, they have like Williamsburg has this particular kind of hipster. Where their shirts a certain way, the beard is kept, and I was like, these guys are from New York, and I also thought they were from New York because when they were playing Mark Burek in the qualifier, they were cheering. Mark Burek's from Queens. Yeah. They were cheering for the McKibbins, and I'm like, these guys can't possibly not be local, but So these
two guys are great. They have great personalities. They're good on social media. They give out tips and. They're creating a product line, all sorts of stuff. But
always have time for a picture, always have time for autograph.
For sure.
Very, very accessible.
But luckily, I got to slide in and play with Madison. Riley
gets hurt.
I've always thought he had the athletic ability to really be there. He just needed to tighten up a few things, learn the game, get a little more experience, play a few more tournaments. They've only played, I think, about a year and a half now.
Right.
So not too long. They played a little bit indoors overseas after playing at USC, having a great team.
Maybe 1 year together at USC, right? One freshman.
Yeah, so they're really new on the beach.
Yeah, high school,
They played a lot in Hawaii with all the guys from Hawaii.
One big family, guys. The Crabs, Tri Bourne, Spencer Sauter, all of these guys are.
But luckily, I got to play them in a few tournaments. And
who came to who? Riley. Hey, listen. Riley goes down.
All right.
Riley gets hurt.
This is how it went down. Riley got injured.
Who came to who?
Madison was playing with Reed in Austin. I was playing with Ty Tramley. There was a few big blockers that didn't sign the contract, so that left me and Ty Tramley, Avery, Mark Burek without big guys. So that's why we all played together first.
Right.
I'm one of the best friends with Ty on tour, so we kind of played together by default. We're like, let's have fun. Let's play a couple together until we figure out big managers, a few partner switches. So let's just do it. I'll get in crazy good shape. I'll block. I'll have fun.
Yeah, you had points, and you did, and you were blocking. It was ridiculous.
But I was already chatting with Madison a little bit, kind of before that. And a lot of people were already talking to other blockers. I told them if there was an opportunity, I'd like to, I think once you get your points up a little bit, and we're out of the qualifier together, we should consider playing together. So there's an open dialogue already going on. And then after New York City, my knee was a little bummed in New York City. It was unfortunate. I played with Marty. Me and Marty got the band back together. We're all fired up. And, but my knee was a little bit sore. And it sucks.
It's just something happened.
So right after New York, this is the story. Marty and Reed practiced together. Reed and Marty. So me and
Reed's been the biggest whore as far as partners.
So Madison texted me and was like, "Hey, Reed and Marty are practicing together." So I'm like, "All right, no worries. That happens." Everyone's kind of flipping around. So I text Marty, "Are you practicing, with Reed? What's going on? Sorry, my knee was bummed, but I'm back. I'm good." And And I've been on the tail end, on the defensive part. I've been pretty loyal partners over the years.
Right.
But I could just feel something was coming because I was a little injured, and me and Madison were already talking. So I text Madison immediately without Reed and Marty making a decision.
It's like, so,
I'm like, Madison,
what are you doing for San Fran?
These guys are practicing together. It was for Seattle.
Okay.
And I was like, let's just be offensive here and let's just play together. I was like, if these two are already looking, they're probably not in it mentally already, so let's just be offensive, let's switch. And we just made the switch. I texted Marty. He ended up not playing with Reed, which was really funny. So Reed got left out, and then Marty played with Zahn.
Ended up with a great Ricardo.
Because Zahn had good points. But then Reed got to pick up Ricardo. So, really.
It was all on my jingle.
Or, I'm sorry.
Episode 9.
I'm sorry, Reed picked up Ed.
Yeah.
So
and ended up playing Zahn the first round.
Ended up beating them in the point freeze.
You couldn't
It was so dramatic.
You couldn't script it any better than that.
Yeah, it was good. But then Reed got to pick up Ricardo.
Yeah.
Luckily, I got to play with Madison still.
Yeah.
And luckily, we just got hot in San Fran. We had some great victories. We lost to Stafford and Billy in the quarters to make it straight to the semis.
Okay.
That was a little bit before Stafford's oblique was tweaked.
Which happened in the semis.
But then we came back and had a great match against Chase and Avery.
Yeah.
Chase, my local boy from Laguna, he's getting really good.
Man, he's like...
But damn, that was a battle. I did not want to lose my hometown partner, Chase. He's kind of the next wave of Laguna. He is Laguna right now.
He really is.
He's got his fans, which are awesome.
He's the real deal.
His hecklers are the real deal. They're super fun. They're the next
If I played Chase,
I love it.
Some of the stuff that comes out of those guys, like a year ago, I saw Chase and freshman play Bjork and Bates.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool joke. Talking about Bjork's on steroids and this and that, but someone said something about like Bjork's wife. And the next day I see Mark doing his volley camp, and I was like, come here for a second. And he's like, what? I said, let me shake your hand. And I shook his hand and I said, if that were me, I would have made a mental note. I wouldn't have said anything to him then. I would have made a mental note until the match was over. Then when the match is over, I would have slapped the taste out of him. I would have slapped him to sleep.
All young heckling groups go through waves of learning what to say, what not to say.
No, because most of it was funny.
Most of it's
but
good.
the one guy, it's hilarious.
There's always the one guy.
Oh my God, it was.
But we'll keep on.
So listen.
So we'll go back to San Fran.
Yeah, you and I spoke to Maddison last week in episode 9 of Volleyball the Tuesday after, and I asked him the 2 words, what gives, and he didn't understand. I had to explain what I'm going to explain to you. Everything he did, what he hit, wrist away, whatever, cut back, this and that. It was McKibbin, but a little bit more. Everything he blocked, we both knew he could block, he could throw down, protect line over this and that. But it was McKibbin and something other. I won't call it. I still don't have the word. It wasn't anger. My safe word is aggression.
I know exactly.
It was something, and I'm bringing it to you, my man. I'm bringing it to you because everything you hit, you read the block going this way. He moves. You know what I'm saying? He moves his hands this way. You wrist away. You have that little. You have your little victory or your little BMF walk. Everything had a little bit more attitude on it, or a little bit more oomph on it. What the fuck?
Well,
where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, good question. I'll stay on track with this one. I knew right when we beat Chase and Avery in an epic battle to make it to Sunday. It was Madison's first Sunday. Madison, I think, had gotten a few fifths before that.
Yeah, and Austin and
Yep, and so he's been knocking on the door. He's been doing good, getting some big matches, getting some confidence going. Madison talks about it in a social media post, but we had a good game plan going into everything. I was helping kind of manage the game, and we were controlling our serve really good. We were serving tough but in. We were having Madison stay down a little bit more, and I was getting a little more aggressive. We talked strategy before every single serve. We're like, all right, serve short now, block this. Serve middle, deep, now you're going to block this. And Madison executed, and he was so focused and played with super good energy. And He was very open-minded all weekend. We threw our egos out of the door. We worked together as a team, and most importantly, we had fun. And we were just.
Is that where it came from, though?
We were enjoying the moment.
But is that where it came from? Like, I think if you watched your semis and finals,
yeah. So
you have to know that there was something when you watch it. Just sitting back and watching.
This is exactly where it was. So we were talking in the players' cent before Sunday.
Okay.
And I told him, I was like, don't worry about this being Sunday. It's just another day. It's just another match. Everything in the mind is an illusion. You know, fear and worry is all an illusion. It's not real. It's not tangible. It's not real. So if you can block that out and just try to stay present and breathe and be in the moment, we'll be in a good spot. If we can take care of the ball and be really aggressive, we know we're some of the best athletes out here. So if we get hot and we're really aggressive, we can beat anyone. But before our semifinal match, the other semifinal was being played before ours, and that was Ricardo and Reed versus Billy and Stafford. And we saw Stafford get a little bit injured. He was having a little oblique spasm injuries.
His right side.
It was a great match, unbelievable. And then
scoring freeze twice.
So we saw Stafford. That happened a little bit. So we saw he was maybe 75%, 80%. You know, had a different side-out game. But Billy can go crazy and go Superman. He can take over matches. He's good. I've
took over literally.
I've seen it on Volleyball Vacations so many times.
Yeah.
He took over the third set. I think Reed would like a few of those swings back. Because that would have been fun to play Reed and Ricardo in the finals as well. That would have been really exciting.
Reed would probably like a lot of swings back.
But
Second set was 20 to 14 or 15, and the fourth set was 14-11.
What really triggered me in Madison,
triggered
me in Madison was right when we saw Stafford and Billy come back and win that match. We knew that this was our time and our moment. You don't get too many opportunities like this. You have to really capitalize when you get the opportunity. I played for 16 or 17 years now. These don't come around. You see guys like Jacob and Phil and Rosie and Nick and Todd Rogers. Those guys are usually dominate and win every tournament every year. So when a few teams are gone, you have to take advantage of those opportunities. I knew once that happened in the semis that we had a great shot. And I knew that we were doing everything we could against Edmonds on. And I told myself this is the moment. And I told Madison in the finals, I was like, don't worry, son, you got me on your team. We're going to be getting through this. And I like talking real crazy positive things to my partner, just to help them relax and make it fun for them. But Madison played great. He executed. He had some incredible blocks. He stayed very present and positive, and he set it out like a beast. He took care of his passing and setting, and he was real aggressive siding out, he had good court vision, and he served tough. We knew that for us to win, we had to serve tough and take care of our stuff. And it all worked out, and we got to celebrate like God.
Momentum,
So we really want to bring some energy and passion to the final too. And I've watched every final in the last 10 to 15 years.
Up, man.
DJ Roche was killing it on the crowd. Triborn and Brittany were on the comment.
Remember we had a conversation about playing your music? Remember that?
Yeah, it was great. DJ Roche played all of our songs. Thank you, Roche. So we had the energy going into it. He was playing nothing but he's super heavy hip hop.
He's a savage
with some awesome EDM bangers for us.
Roche's a savage.
It was great.
Yep.
Thank you, Roche.
So
we won the crowd, we won the DJ, we won the announcers, we won Kevin Wong pre-game interviews, and I've seen a lot of the finals over the last X amount of years. A lot of them are so boring. You got all these great players in the world. The crowd is raging.
Yeah.
You don't have players playing with energy and passion and really being in the moment. And I've just had a great point in my career where I'm really confident in myself. And, found a good inner peace, and I know the game needs the energy and excitement. I know the tour needs personalities again. If it wants to be back like the 80s and 90s, if you want sponsors to come back, if you want the prize money to increase, players have to take responsibility and you have to put it on your shoulders.
Save your own souls.
You have to be responsible. Let's create a valuable product. Let's smile and have fun out there, and let's celebrate. Let's throw some sand with me if you want.
fucking A.
Run around and show everyone that you love the process and the culture and the journey, and keep celebrating. Show everyone that you're having fun out there.
Absolutely.
That's what sport's all about.
Yep. Stay with me in San Francisco. I take you to match point. All right, match point opportunity number 1, and then freeze.
Yeah.
Let's skip the freeze and let's get to the very last match point opportunity.
Okay.
Maddison McKibbin had blocked Stafford's for match point, which, by the way, was the 3rd tournament in a row, and that match point for the tournament win was decided with a block.
Yes. Yeah.
Stafford did it with Trevor Crabb in Seattle.
Stuff down forever.
And Gibbs stuffed Stafford in New York. So walk me through that very last play. Blocking signs. Was there any last minute conversation?
Yeah, so that was match point number 7. It was a lot. Free scoring is great, by the way. I love it. It got the crowd standing for an extra 15 to 20 minutes. They're on the edge of their feet. Donaldson, thank you for that rule. It's amazing. From a non-egotistical perspective, I like it. It's great for the fans. Who cares what the players think? If good teams don't like it, bad teams like it because it gives them a chance to come back. But it makes teams mentally side out and go back to the old school.
It's a grind.
I love it.
It's a grind.
You have to be old. It's old school. I love it.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding to our 7th match point, I thought we hit a good side out rhythm. After we gave up a few, Billy went on a little Superman run, got a few. And it came to 19-20, and it was there for 7 match points. We had switched to the bad side now, but we still had the lead, and I knew that something had to change. I knew that I had to go back and serve a little bit tougher, even though it was on the bad side. I knew if we were consistent on Stafford with this little oblique
stab the gas, stab the tank.
Eventually we're going to get something here. Let's just be consistent, keep the ball in, but serve tough, which is hard to say.
That's called pressure, Ty.
For sure. But pressure is
that's what I tell my kids. You know what it's called when I want you to jump serve and not miss?
Yeah.
That's called pressure. You gotta be able to take that.
But pressure is an illusion in the mind that you create put on yourself.
Yep.
So if you watch that all the way, there's no pressure.
Yep.
So if you can get to that point mentally as an athlete, that's the place to be. But I knew I had to serve fast, so I went back and I served it, pretty aggressively, maybe like 85%. Hits the tape. Free score, replay, second serve. So the crowd was like, "Ooh, 7th match point." Yeah, I could feel it a little bit. Even though you want to wash it out, you still feel it a little bit. So the second one, I was a little more careful with, but I hit it to Stafford's line.
Okay, left shoulder serve.
Yeah. So I served a little bit towards his line. It wasn't the best pass, but we dialed up a 3.
Okay.
A 3 play. So what that was is Maddison was going to fake like he was going to block angle, and then he took a big step in back to the line.
Right.
And on defense, I juked like I was going to the line, like we were blocking angle, and I came back last minute.
Right.
So we run a really late play to kind of fool Stafford because he'd been siding out great. And luckily Matty had just great position in his hands and he blocked it.
It was boom.
All I could think was, I've replayed that in my mind so many times, and I've imagined making the finals and visualized it so many times, and all I could do is put my arms out and just greatest appreciation ever. All those 25 years of playing and training, just all of it came out.
That's that.
It was the greatest feeling you could ever get. And I saw Maddison go on a knee and just kind of take it all in. That's his personality. He's humble Hawaiian. In me, this raging lunatic, I was like, no way I'm going to let him be calm.
Yeah, you're not taking this solitary moment by
yourself. I was happy with our celebration in 2009 in Coney, but I really wanted to step it up and let all that emotion come out, because I retired for 3 years. I came back. This was a journey yet. It was more proof to myself that I could compete at a high level again, and just wanted to come back and have a few good tournaments before I retired again, whenever that might be. And all that emotion came out, and I didn't know what we were going to do at the celebration, but we just kind of rolled with it. I tackled him, and he tackled me, and he kept rolling, so I was like, screw it, I'm going to keep rolling too. And we just rolled a few times, and then we started sprinting around, and I saw Maddison look at me, and I threw sand, he threw sand. And then we pogoed, and then we went up to the beer garden. We partied with the people in the beer garden for a minute. We pogoed with Donaldson for a minute. Pogoed after our interview. It was great. The fans really appreciated it.
I was going to say, do you have any idea how many people took that journey with you? That, I mean, listen, San Francisco had your back. They loved you. You were there last year. People watching on TV. So many people who followed you. So many people who wanted good things for Maddison McKibbin. People worried about like the level of competition because supposedly the upper tier were playing FIVB. You know, earning the right to get their heads chopped off. And San Francisco's packed. You got this moment, you got this block, and everyone, millions of people watching at home. It was because it was on real. It wasn't on NBC Sports. It was on real NBC. It was on but the men's game was on real NBC.
Correct.
So
they showed the second half. They showed the second game, but.
I mean, I'm asking you a rhetorical question. I won't even ask. I'll answer it for you. A lot of people took that journey to the live stream or whatever, and then to the finals. You know, turn off the live stream, turn on the TV, and then they saw that moment. And he's trying to have this little moment to himself, and you're like, no fucking way. We're rolling. We're rolling.
We're
yeah, it looked like Friday night on Oklahoma.
Oh, look like we won the six-man championship. We're taking a little six-man, and we're bringing a little six-man Lakers, Fletch, Magnum P.I. style.
I can speak. I have myself personally. I was with Kelly watching it, and I was like, do you freaking see this? Do you know how good? And you know me, how much I care about the sport, and how much I respect the sport, and now more these days, beach. And I said, do you know how good this was for the sport of beach volleyball?
And that's why I wanted to do it. I've seen so many finals every finals over the last 15 years I've seen and watched. I'm kind of a volleyball dork as well. I'm on YouTube all the time watching matches, FIVB, AVB. And I really know, I'm a big studier of the old school, and I'm super thankful for the old school legends. Steve Obradovich, Brian Lewis, Sim Hovland.
I'll go back to Selesnik.
All the old school legends that played with energy and passion and a little bit of swagger.
Yes.
That's who I try to represent, and that's who I want. Every celebration, I'm celebrating with all the old school people, and I know that they're back at home and they want that as well. And I know they're in the old school forums, you know, talking about bring the point score back, bring back the rage and the celebration, and so I really try to do that for that, and I really try to do it for the sport, even though I'm an emotional player as well. And I like to have fun on the court. You got smiles radiate way farther. You know, to see the energy is contagious. And I want to throw that out there.
You know what I like, and we're kind of in the end here. I like that sometimes you get a hit or you get a joust. You win the joust. After you win the joust, in stride, in rhythm, you don't have to stop to do it. You win, and then you have this walk. I call the BMF walk. And I was actually gonna put on camera like the scene from Stir Crazy with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder when they go into jail, and Richard Pryor's like this, and he's like, Gene Wilder's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm getting bad, and he's like, why? He says, so you get bad when you're in jail. You get so now Gene Wilder starts trying to walk like him, and you had this walk like yeah we bad, we bad. It's like joust, and then I shot the sheriff and the deputy.
I don't know what's happening when I win a point, but something just comes out. I think it's since I broke my leg when I was young. I think it was since I retired. I've been through a lot in the game. I know how hard it is to even compete with all the top USA teams. I mean, it's the best teams in the world every weekend that we're playing against. Everyone was good. Like, the tour is as deep as it has ever been on the men's side and the women's side.
Yeah, so we were talking about AVP first, AVP next.
We're talking about AVP Hermosa, awesome event. It was really cool how they had the AVP first there, competing right alongside the courts of all the pros. That was a phenomenal idea. All the kids, some kids, they got to play on the center court.
Yeah,
which is really cool. You know, if I was a kid playing on the center court, I'd be hooked for life. And so what's really cool is now they're creating the AVP Academy. Not only do they have AVP first tournaments all across the U.S. now, AVP Academy has different chapters all across the U.S. But also on the website, I know the creative director, Josh, is working on a lot of this on the back end. The AVP Academy will be an online subscription service, to my understanding. You'll have player tutorials there, health plans, workout plans. You'll be able to ask pros questions, all sorts of stuff to take your game to the next level. That's going to be amazing. We have the AVP First Farm system. When the kids are ready to move past the AVP First system, start meeting a lot of the other kids, they can start playing the AVP Next, which are locally. I think this year they had 80, maybe 90 AVP Next all across the country. Players can gain points for our qualifier system. And so we have AVP First, Next, and then once players are ready and doing good in AVP Next, then they can come into the farm system of our qualifiers. So we have a full farm system being created now. I think it's genius by Donald and the MVP.
It is genius.
So I think everything is there. It's all about to come to a new peak. As long as the players keep playing with energy and passion and create a great product, I think the AVP is on a really good road right now. I'm excited for that.
Excellent.
Can't happen soon enough.
No.
Hopefully we can get a few more events next year, go to some other really cool cities. Maybe go back to Fort Lauderdale or Clearwater one day would be ideal for me. I would like that, but I'm just stoked and humbled and happy to be playing, happy, healthy, grateful.
No doubt.
And,
So let's finish this up with something I call the lightning round questions. I'll give you 5 of them. You ready?
Let's go.
Okay. Favorite comfort food? What kept you a skinny fat boy?
Acai and pizza.
Okay, cool. A good team name: You Shall Not Pass, or Kiss My Ace.
Kiss my ace. I like that. I like being non-politically correct. Forget the political correctness in this world.
Did Oswald shoot JFK?
No. No way, dude. Read the history, people. Don't get me started.
Listen, I saved that question just for you.
I like
we shut that down. Okay, if there's someone in the history of time, past or present, that you would like to have dinner with and just talk to and pick their brain, who would it be?
Maybe Tony Robbins.
Okay.
But when I was really young, I got to watch Tony Robbins. When you're really young, late night watching TV in the summertime, you just get stuck on Tony Robbins commercials. Those things are 30 minutes long. If you watch 30 seconds of it, you're watching all 30 minutes. But luckily I watched that when I was young and really had that mindset from a really young kid. So I would think, Tony Robbins or some top intellectual, or really sit down with Karch Karai or Hovland and Steve O'Bradovich at the same time.
Nice.
And just drill them with old school questions. And I like hearing the old school volleyball stories too.
Good stuff.
Maybe after some old school volleyball players, Brian Lewis, OB, Hovland, some of my favorites. But thank you so much.
Ty Loomis, thank you
I'd like
so
to say
much
one more thing. Thank you, Jason, for creating quality content, blogs. Needs to be more bloggers, writers out there. More players need to get their websites going.
And I need more guys like this to up my game.
Yes, I really appreciate it.
We're not in the command center today, folks.
I really appreciate everyone recording all the matches, throwing them on YouTube, making everything more accessible for us now. And I'm going to thank my sponsors here as well, real quick, okay?
Yeah, okay.
I'm launching a new site, by the way, just basic information. If you want to go check it out, it's tyloomis.co. It's kind of in beta right now. There's a few things that need to be tweaked out, as always, but tyloomis.co. And thank you so much, QUIKSILVER, Nature's Root, and Rock Green Organics. They keep my journey going. They keep my dream alive. So Appreciate you guys.
Hey,
Thank
Jason
you.
DeBeas, volleyball
Thank you, Jason.
one-on-one.